Hi, I'm Scott. I'm here with Post Fly. I'm going to be talking with you guys today about doing a dual nymph rig. We've already talked in past episodes about doing a regular nymph rig. We've got our split shot, our nymph on here to begin with. When we do the dual nymph rig, what we're going to do next, we're going to take some tippet. Usually what we do with tippet too, you want to make sure you have a size smaller tippet for your extended nymph here, for your second nymph. The reason we do that, if you get this bottom nymph stuck, you're going to break that off first rather than breaking off your entire rig. So always remember to downsize with your tippet depending on what you're using up top, to using the next smaller size. I usually use about 1 foot or 1.5 feet. This, you can vary this up completely too, depending how fast the water's moving, how deep it is. Take about 1 foot, 1.5 feet of tippet. You're gonna take your nippers, nip that off. Now, first thing we're gonna tie on is onto your first fly. There's 2 ways you can do this, depending on the size of your first nymph on here. If you have a rather large one on here, something around this size, you should have enough space that you can actually tie right onto where you've tied your first fly on anyways, right there. There should be a big enough gap there, you can tie right onto there. If it's a smaller nymph, like this one that we have on here right now, you don't have enough space here to tie onto the top. So we're gonna tie right onto the hook on the back here. So we're gonna do our improved clinch knot here. We're gonna take that tippet we just cut off. We're gonna loop it underneath the hook itself. Kind of pinch it between your index finger and your thumb just to hold it nice and tight. You're going to spin that tag around a couple times. Back through. And the hard part is making sure it doesn't pop off that hook. And this may take a couple tries for you. Through there. Get on there nice and tight. You can see now we've got the tag on there. We've got our tippet going right off the end. All right, so we'll cut the tags off afterwards when we've got everything all set up. So now we've got our first fly, we got our extended line here for the second fly. We're gonna get next one. Usually what I try to do is a smaller fly on the bottom one. It's good advice to kind of check under some rocks, see what's there. If you see multiple different species of insects down there, pick 2 ones that you did see there, try those out. This is a good way to kind of dissect what the fish are eating, figure out what they might be chewing on down there. So you can try 2 completely different random flies, or if you've seen one bug there for sure and you want to try out a different one that you think might work, this is a great opportunity for that. So same thing, we're going to use just an improved clinch knot. We're going to put the tippet right through here. This too, like I said, you can vary the length here as much as you want. I try to keep it about 1 foot, between 1 foot and 2 feet. You don't want it too long because then it won't sink down very fast. You don't want it too short. You'll probably tangle up real easily with that top fly. So do your improved clinch knot here. Once you get that on there, then you can kind of untie, take your nippers, get rid of those tags. I start with the bottom fly first, get rid of the tag on here. Usually I try to get that pretty close to the end of the fly, especially with these smaller nymphs on here. Do your top fly, get that tag off there. Now you have your dual nymph setup here for nymphing. So like I said, we've got split shot, our main lead fly with some tippet, which is going to be a lesser pound test down here. It's very important that you put, usually a lot of fly lines, you're going to have your pre-made leaders. It's going to be 4X or 5X. Usually when I'm nymphing, I'm doing a 3X or a 4X on there. Your bottom fly here, you're going to want to do a 4 or 5X, something less, because if you do get this bottom fly hung up, that'll break off first. The worst thing is when you get that bottom fly hung up and you have to break off your entire rig and retie it all back on there. So that is a basic dual nymph rig right there. It's very important with your cast, making sure you let it stretch all the way out. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. You get a lot of tangles when you do this setup. So be mindful of what's behind you, watch your cast, let that line stretch all the way out on your back cast and your forward cast. A little tip that I use when I'm doing a dual nymph rig, if you can see here, so we've got the bottom fly, which is pretty small. We've got our main fly here and then our split shot. Ahead of that, we've got our strike indicator, which is somewhere here. When you're casting this, when you cast it out, look for 3 splashes behind your strike indicator. You've got the bottom fly, the middle fly, and then you've got your split shot. When you cast that out there, look for those 3 splashes. If you've got those 3 splashes, you know it's not tangled up. If you see one large splash, especially around your strike indicator, bring that rig in to check it because you very easily could be tangled up. It is good practice anyways, just to every 5 or so casts, pull that rig in and just make sure everything's still there and make sure it's not tangled up. So these are some tips for you for your dual nymph rig and regular nymphing style for fly fishing. Get out there, try it, experiment, pick up some rocks, find some bugs and match them up.